And there have been nights where I haven't slept because you're thinking that I like to set high standards, and I know that we're not able to do what we should be doing. Hello everyone, my name's Mark Kingsley. I currently work as a support teacher at New Norfolk High School. I also have an acting advanced skills teacher role where I coordinate the teaching assistants at our school. I've worked with students with disabilities all my teaching career. I've taught for 27 years now. A major concern of mine relates to the new disability funding model. It's an improved model on the previous one, but has been severely undermined due to inadequate resourcing. We urgently need increased funding so that we can meet the educational needs of all students with disabilities. An important part of that is the valuable teaching and support resources that schools require. As a support teacher, I very much value the role that support teachers do in coordinating resources, developing learning plans for students, and also working closely with our wonderful teacher assistants. But we're well short of the numbers of support teachers and teacher assistants that we need to adequately meet the needs of our students. We also have very limited supply of school psychologists and other therapists, for example, speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, which very much impacts on our ability to adequately plan for all aspects of a student's life at school, as well as their educational needs. A lot of students with disabilities have medical needs, physical needs, etc. And the therapists and school psychologists are a critical part in helping us upskill teachers, but also meet the needs of our students. Most research would show that actually to do an excellent job of teaching students with disability in inclusive settings, you actually need additional resources. And that's where I feel like we're being let down at the moment. I was part of the pilot program for the new disability funding model, so I've got a reasonable idea of what costings were involved when our school went through that. And by my estimations, we would be about probably 60% of the funding that is needed to adequately support students with disability. As a result, many students fall through the cracks. Students with lower level support needs get very minimal assistance in schools, which is something that concerns me and concerns other support teachers and teachers, and something that we need to be addressed as part of the next funding agreement, and also as part of the salaries agreement, because we need to attract people like myself who would like a career as a support teacher, rather than at the moment we have lots of great people being support teachers, but there's a massive turnover. We see lots of first year out teachers given a role as a support teacher. We would like to see the support there for these teachers to continue this as a career, rather than it just being seen as a stepping stone to other educational positions, whether it be promotional or classroom teaching. To me, any student that falls through the cracks in our system is a disaster, and I fear that's going to happen more and more, because as students don't have their needs met, they have to find other ways, whether they stay at home, look at other options for schooling, or they become disengaged at school, which we know that if you're disengaged in school, it very much limits your life options, your employment options, vocational options in the future. So we won't see a lot of this immediately, but my fear is that over the next 5 to 10 years, that if we're not careful, our educational standards will drop from already a fairly low point, much lower than they already are.